So the sun is out and there's birdsong through the trees, and all our hibernating hedgehogs are just about now active, which means it's just around time for the greatest danger to hedgehogs to return to our gardens. And yes, that's right, it's us gardeners. Welcome to Hedgehogs Hollow, the channel for people passionate about hedgehogs who want to attract them into their gardens and then support them when they're there, providing a wonderful heavenly habitat for our hedgehog visitors. But no matter how passionate we might be about our hedgehogs, when the sun comes out and the list of chores in the garden grows, we can all become a little forgetful and a little bit neglectful in our actions. And those actions and behaviours can be very detrimental and harmful to our hedgehog visitors. If you saw a recent live stream with Katie from Prickles and Paws, she described exactly how some of our actions as gardeners can be a direct impact and lead to increases in the admissions of hedgehogs with injuries to the hospital.
Every spring we usually see a big increase in injuries. So if you look at the causes for admission over a year, spring will be the most where we get injuries, most of which were attributed to gardening injuries. And specific trauma. So we had 4 fractures surgically repaired, which was amazing. But in spring we always get the strimmer injuries.
And in fact, this spring she's had to put out an urgent appeal for people and gardeners to have a look out specifically in gardens and allotments for any sleeping hedgehogs. So it's imperative that we examine our own behaviours when it comes to our gardening activities. So let's have a look at some of those behaviours, starting off with strimming and mowing.
Just the sound of a lawn strimmer is likely to send shivers down the spine of anyone who works in a hedgehog rescue. Strimmers contribute to a significant number of hedgehog injuries and tragically deaths every year. But even the manual equivalent of a scythe can be just as dangerous for a hedgehog. The fact is that long grass is a fantastic place for a hedgehog to nestle down and sleep. The tall grass covers them effectively and hides them from predators, but equally makes them extremely difficult for a gardener to see. But the effects of a strimmer or a scythe injury can be devastating, so please always survey the area you'll be working in for any sleeping hedgehogs. Robotic or automatic lawnmowers are another risk to hedgehogs. When scheduled to run at night, these machines may encounter roaming hedgehogs whose initial reaction will of course be to simply stop and curl up, and this makes them a potential target for the non-discerning mower. The exact risk has never been scientifically researched, but that is all changing with a study that is being undertaken by Dr. Sophie Lundt Rasmussen in Denmark and is being funded by the British Hedgehog Preservation Society, and it will investigate the exact dangers that automatic mowers pose to hedgehogs. Until the science answers the questions, if you have an automatic lawnmower, perhaps schedule it to run when the chances are minimal that it will encounter one of your visiting hedgehogs.
But of course, it's not just the lawnmower or the strimmer that presents a problem. As gardeners, we can do a lot of damage with the common garden spade or even the fork, and we all have the tendency of taking these massive big backswings just to get some more energy and force through the implement into the ground. And that can be absolutely devastating to a sleeping hedgehog that we don't know is lying there. Even a simple thing like a rake can become a very harmful implement to a sleeping hedgehog if we're a little bit over forceful with the tool. So please, when you're using things like the garden fork or spade or its larger version, please be very careful and make sure that you first check the area that you're going to be working in. And of course, it's not just the tools that we use that can become a problem. We all perhaps have a tendency of wanting to do better in our garden and add a little bit of insecticide or poison or slug pellets into the garden to get rid of the nasties, the little bugs and creepy crawlies that are affecting our plants. But introducing those things into the garden ecosystem can have an impact not just on the bugs and the insects that we're trying to get rid of, but on the entire food chain, which can of course include hedgehogs, as well as any other birds or wildlife that might be in the garden and might be reliant on that food source. So make sure that you don't actually include those things and introduce those things into the food chain. Rather try and find natural ways of deterring bugs and beasts, or include them and welcome them into your garden. So before you start with that growing list of garden chores, please be sure to add one item right to the very top of the to-do list, and that's to check your garden or allotment for any sleeping hedgehogs that might be there that you're not aware of. Let's all make sure that our passion for gardening doesn't negatively impact our passion for hedgehogs. Until next Thursday, from myself, Mike, you have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.